Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm David and I'm a software engineer. Today I'm going to talk about SAML, what it is, how it works and why it's important. I cover the basics of SAML and then do a simple demo. By the end of this video, you'll understand the basic concepts of SAML, and if you're interested in knowing more, you can check out my next video which covers the technical aspect of SAML. So let's begin. Let's first define SAML. SAML stands for Security Assertion Markup Language and is a protocol for single sign-on or SSO. An SSO is a process which allows you to authenticate once and access multiple applications and websites. Let me illustrate this process. Suppose you are at a grocery store trying to buy a bottle of beer. At the checkout stand, a cashier asks you for an ID. You show your ID, she matches your face with the photo ID and verify your age. Once verified, you can pay for your items and leave. How did this verification process work? She didn't have your information beforehand. She simply read the information written on your ID card and believed it. Because she trusted the government that issued the ID. During this process, you didn't have to sign up for the membership or anything. Once you have your ID card, you can use it in every store to prove your ID. And this is the kind of problem SAML is trying to solve. There are 3 entities in SAML. And if you were to match our previous scenario with the corresponding entities in SAML terminology, it would look like this. The government would be IDP or Identity Provider, which authenticates you and issues a token. Grocery store would be SP or Service Provider, which validates the token and provides you services. You would be User Agent, which is normally a user's web browser. And ID card would be SAML assertion or SAML token. Let's briefly look at the overall process of SAML. Before an end user can make use of SAML protocol, IT admin must configure SAML federation to establish a trust relationship between SP and IDP. The simplest way to do this is to exchange SAML metadata information between SP and IDP, which I will do in the demo. An end user who wants to access the SP must first log into IDP. Once the user is successfully authenticated in IDP, IDP sends a SAML assertion to SP. SP validates the SAML assertion and grants the user access to its services. This whole flow can start from either IDP or SP. When the flow starts from IDP, we call it IDP Initiative Flow. And when the flow starts from SP, we call it SP Initiative Flow. Let's first look at IDP Initiative Flow. This sequence diagram might look complicated at first, but it will become clear once you see this in action. In the demo, I'll be using Salesforce as service provider and Okta as identity provider. Disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with those companies in any way. So first, a user logs into IDP. IDP shows a list of service provider apps. The user launches the Salesforce app. IDP generates a SAML assertion and puts it inside SAML response. The response is sent back to the user's browser, and the user's browser sends the SAML response to Salesforce. Salesforce validates the SAML assertion and logs the user into Salesforce website. In SP Initiative Flow, the user accesses SP website first. Since the user is not authenticated, it redirects the user to IDP. During this redirection, SP sends what's known as SAML request to IDP. IDP reads this SAML request and recognizes that Salesforce was the one who sent the request and prepares SAML response for Salesforce. If the user is not authenticated to IDP yet, IDP will ask the user to authenticate first before sending the SAML response. Otherwise, the SAML response will be immediately sent to the service provider, and service provider will log in the user. Now it's time for the demo. I'm gonna sign up for accounts in Okta and Salesforce. Developer accounts are free for both sites. And then I'm going to establish trust relationship between Okta and Salesforce, and then do demo on IDP Initiative Flow and SP Initiative Flow. So I'm at the sign up page for Okta and the Salesforce. So I'm going to fill in all the information and get signed up. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to use the same email address for both websites, and I suggest you do the same if you're gonna try this out. And I'm gonna see you guys in a bit. I'm done signing up. Okta and Salesforce gave me custom URLs like these. Now I want to establish trust relationship between Okta and Salesforce. And the easiest way to do that is by exchanging SAML metadata files. We need to download metadata file from each side and upload it to the other side. Metadata files contain the agreement on how the SAML messages should be sent between the SP and the IDP. So I create a Salesforce SAML app in Okta first. We need to get the custom domain from Salesforce. Click next. For the sign-up method, I'm going to choose SAML. And here we can download IDP metadata. Now I'm going to log into Salesforce. And search for single sign-on. We need to enable SAML first. And we can create an app from the metadata file we just downloaded. This fills in all the necessary information. I just need to save. And now we can download SP metadata file. But Okta doesn't provide a menu for uploading the metadata. It just requires a login URL. So I'm going to copy this and then paste it here and click done. Now we need to assign this app, and I'm going to assign it to everybody. So now the trust relationship is established. Let's try IDP Initiative Flow next. So I do the demo for IDP Initiative Flow. Currently I'm at the Okta login page, and I made sure that I'm logged out from Salesforce. And I installed SAML Tracer from Chrome Web Store to visualize the flow. And now I log into Okta. switch my view to the user dashboard, and then click Salesforce app. And you will notice that I'm currently logged into Salesforce. If you look at the SAML tracer, it shows you the SAML icon. This means that there's a SAML related information in this request. And you'll notice that there's a SAML response here. And this is being passed to the login URL, or what's called ACS URL. So inside SAML, you're going to see a SAML assertion with the subject. So this is the username I'm using to log into Salesforce. And there is a expiration date here. And you have to be logged in within 10 minutes. And there's a signature block. So this means that your SAML response cannot be tampered with. So once the SP or Salesforce receives this, it must validate it and then give you a cookie to keep you logged into Salesforce. Yeah, so that's it for IDP Initiative Flow. Now let's move on to SP Initiative Flow. Yeah, so now I'm gonna do SP Initiative Flow. And before I do that, I need to make one change. I go to my domain page, and this is my custom login page. I need to add SSO link to Okta at the bottom of the page. So in the authentication configuration section, I'm going to add that link. So once I log out, in the login page, I'm going to see the link at the bottom of this page. And once I click this is going to start the SP Initiative Flow. So I'm logged into Salesforce, and in the SAML tracer, you're gonna see two SAML icons. The second one is for the SAML response. This is something you have seen before in the IDP Initiative Flow. And the first one is for the SAML request. This SAML request contains the issuer, which is the Salesforce, and the ACS URL, which is also the Salesforce. So IDP knows exactly where this request came from and creates the SAML assertion and sends the SAML response back to the Salesforce immediately after the user logs in. And since I'm already logged into Okta, Okta immediately sends this response back to Salesforce. Yeah, so that's it for SP Initiative Flow. I hope this video helped you understand SAML better. If you enjoyed watching this video, please click like and subscribe below. And I'm gonna see you guys next time. Bye.